everybody. Let's go over how to simulate a non-inverting amplifier. So I'm going to run through it kind of quickly because you've seen this before with the inverting amplifier. And so since you know how to do that, it's like 99% the same for this one. So let's start with a 5-terminal op-amp here. Okay, and then just be mindful of the inputs, which is inverting and which is non-inverting. And let's see, let's do a input, an AC input. And now the AC input feeds to the non-inverting input. So I'm going to press R to have a resistor. Okay, so this input goes through a resistor to the non-inverting input. Okay, now the output goes through a feedback resistor. So let me add another resistor. So the output here goes through a feedback resistor, and we want negative feedback. So I'm feeding it back to the inverting input like that. Okay, so here is kind of the bare bones non-inverting input, and then let's finish. Let's add another resistor here, and then ground. We'll press G. Okay, so this feeds here, and let me tie my input signal to ground. Okay, so this is, in practice, you have these two resistors the same, and then you adjust this feedback resistor. So for example, let's say I make this 3. So see, 3/1, the ratio is 3. So the gain is going to be 1 plus this over this. So I'm expecting a gain of 4. 1 plus 3/1. Okay, and then let's add the power supply. So I'm going to add source DC. Okay, so for the positive power supply here, like that. And then for the negative, I'm going to flip this upside down. Right, this side is higher, and then this side is lower. Lower than 0 by this much, 5 volts. Okay, so let's see. Right now I have this set at 1 volt. So the input's going to be a 1 volt sinusoid, and the output we expect to be a 4 volt sinusoid, non-inverted. Okay, so let's put some probes here to measure. So this is the input. This is the output. We're expecting 1 volt sinusoid on the input. 1 plus 3, 4 volt sinusoid on the output. So I'm going to pick transient, run it. Okay, so here, 1 volt input, 4 volt output, non-inverted. Negative 1 volt input, negative 4 volt output. And that's only true because the output is not saturating. So let's say if I made the power supply voltage 3 and negative 3, then what would happen? Right, so here, 1 volt input. We were expecting 4 volts output, but it's saturated at 3. Here, negative 1 volt input. We expected negative 4 on the output, but it's saturated at negative 3. And if you look really closely, it's not like here we're expecting 3.00. There's a little bit of an offset. Right here, there's a little bit of an offset. And that's because for the op-amp, look internal, the settings for the op-amp. Our computations were based on an ideal op-amp, where a lot of these settings were like the output resistance was 0, the input resistance is infinity, the open loop gain is infinity, things like that. That's not those are idealizations, right? Multisim uses values where it can be realistic. Okay, so that's it. Maybe it's not so bad, hopefully. So keep practicing so you have more experience using Multisim and other kind of circuit simulators. If you have any questions, just post on the forum, and I'll see you on the next video.